Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to my living room where there is a carpet the shade of the drink I'm serving you. What's that? It's a creme de menthe mixed drink because we're in the 70s in my conversation pit, and we're here for you. Hello.
Unfortunately, you can't sit there because that's where one of Amanda's plants live.
Yes.
Oh, you can't sit there.
No.
All the plants are there.
Yeah.
That chair, actually, I'm saving that for one of Amanda's plants.
Ooh.
Yes,
That
makes sense.
It can't hold humans, but it can hold a human-sized plant. Is the rule.
Of course.
What's up? Hi, welcome. It is a Tuesday, and not a bad Tuesday, because we are here dropping a hot and fresh convo pit. We're making it because Brandon is about to fly to Texas to meet his new nephews. Hi, Brandon.
It's a me.
2 babies.
It's a me.
2 babies.
Brunkle.
Brunkle.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric. That's not bad.
not
Brunkle. Ungle is, I guess, would be for Grugle. That'd be pretty good.
Grungle is, I think.
Grungle's good. Brunkle. Grungle.
My favorite meal.
Grunkle is just an uncle who's also a brother, which is most Brunkles.
My favorite meal of the day is Brunkle, so I think it works. Yeah.
That's brunch and what?
Uncle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where you stare in the fridge for 20 minutes and eventually take out a Bud Heavy.
Brunkle dinner.
Bud Heavy. Incredible. So thank you, everybody, for understanding. But in order for Brandon to go meet the newbies, we are dropping you a convo pit. There will be a regular episode next week. Don't you worry. And by the way, this is all access for all people because everybody deserves good Tuesdays. No bad Tuesdays in the world. But if you are a patron, you can go ahead and check out the video for this conversation pit. We're making it available to all the patrons. You're
I'm
welcome.
wearing a funny hat.
Quick, Brandon, grab a hat. Grab a hat.
I'm also wearing a funny hat, but it's not what you think. It just has a pig on it. That's funny.
It's really cute, Eric.
It's a hig. It's a hat pig.
Oh.
Or a pat? A pig
We have
hat.
to stop doing this.
Or Julia, what if instead going to be a running thing of the podcast? Here it is.
The
You
entire
asked for the
podcast.
opposite. Now it's happening.
No.
I have been wanting to just say, and just instead of taking this to you privately, I am just going to air it out in public, that I do think, Julia, that this was a goop-ortunity that we had and a goop announcement when we announced the goop that we were going to scoop. And I just wanted to just sort of like bring that to your attention.
When
Heard, chef.
Corner in that I want to turn the corner and get to the rest
Corner
of these
behind. Let's put this bit behind us.
Yeah.
Well, I just when what's her face gets canceled, it is going to be called a scoop goop. So that's
Gwyneth Paltrow, the
I think
the woman who
she's
definitely got canceled because she was on trial recently.
I think that has passed the speed of sound and she's in the Speed Force. So I think that that's not going to happen.
Okay, yeah.
I think that she's past it. She's just like, she's holding a jade egg with her Kegels and she's set. That's a real one. I didn't make that one up. That's a real one.
I like that you were like the Speed Force, and my brain was like, isn't she in the MCU, not the DCU? Right? Yeah.
I got coffee on my face.
Uh-oh.
Well, Eric, as you get prepared, don't worry. This entire convo pit is shag carpets. You can just roll around a couple times and it'll wipe up whatever spills.
Yeah, I'll get the coffee that I got on my
Yep.
shorts off.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you were describing the carpet earlier, Amanda, I was picturing you handing me like a scotch on, like just a scotch not on the rocks.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then also the carpet was just like shit brown.
I was going to say burnt orange, but that's fine. That's fine too.
That too.
That too.
Now, I imagined Eric walking into his living room in a conversation pit with Amanda squarely in the middle, surrounded by plants, and just going,
Oh,
Yeah,
Charles,
it
you're
was
so
more like
funny.
that. It was
Yeah.
mostly like that.
Not unlike what our apartment is like at any given day.
Damn. Called
let's reach into the fishbowl of index cards. Not what you think. They're question prompts from our audience. This is from Mage Silverleaf, who asks, "Do we have any exciting summer plans or any time this year plans in general?" Thank you, Mage.
Oh, I have a lot of wedding activities for the rest of the summer because friends of ours are getting big married. Not small married, big married.
How is it big married?
It's like a 3-day affair. It's upstate in like Oneonta at like basically a summer camp where we're all going to stay in yurts.
Yurts!
And it's just going to be like big camp vibes. So big married because it's a whole event.
I'm so happy Big Mary found somebody.
Me too.
Yeah, she deserves someone.
She keeps rolling down the river and she couldn't settle down.
My sister's having babies. That's the big thing.
Really?
Now, Brandon, have the babies been had or are the babies impending?
The babies are impending today, should be.
At time of recording.
Those babies pending. Damn.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm flying. I guess I just bought a flight for like 9 a.m. tomorrow. So should be there
Nice.
tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Good job.
And then, I just got back from that wedding in Italy and Prague. So after this, I'm not doing anything. My big plan is to sit and garden.
Love it.
Nice. Well deserved.
Well, I'm going to visit Brandon's sister in the hospital. I'm doing that right after this. Well, here's the thing, guys. New York City sucks in August. It's one of the ways that August sucks. It's the worst. It's probably the worst month. Everyone says it's February. I think everyone should get a layer of body fat and fucking deal with it.
No.
And Julia, that's why you complain about why February is the worst. But no, August is the worst. The only thing that's good about August is tomatoes, and literally I can't think of anything else.
And the birth of my husband.
No, it doesn't outweigh tomatoes.
So only the first couple days of August, so it's sort of a July holdover in my opinion.
Yeah.
Jake and tomatoes sort of go together. Like
Shoo-ba-doo-bop-de-bop.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So we went and visited Jasper Cartwright, that British guy I know.
Knife crime.
They don't have guns, so they're just really worried about knife crime, which is the funniest term for crime that I've ever heard. And we visited him in August. I think it was last year or 2 years ago.
Last year.
It was last year, geez. And it was so nice for it to be August 10th. And it was 65 degrees that Amanda and I said to each other as we were sitting in a double-decker bus in Dublin, which is where we went after Manchester because we thought it would be more fun to fly out of the Dublin airport. And I'm eating the best cheese and tomato sandwich I've ever had because Ireland subsidizes their dairy farmers. LOL.
It was from a Pret, and it was still.
It was from a Pret, and it was so good. I'm like, what if we summered in Dublin? And then Amanda organized her family around that idea, and now it's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
It's a milestone birthday for my dad. So me and my 3 siblings, our spouses and partners, and my dad's cool girlfriend are all going to be in Ireland together. We're so excited.
That's great. Some Irish cheddar.
The Irish whiskey primarily, but also cheese. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So good. I'm so excited.
I'm pretty sure we also substitute our dairy farmers. We're just not as good.
Why are we so bad at it?
I know, we're just not as good.
They also they mandate that a certain amount of dairy product used by food service companies is Irish grown.
Right, it's that because that's why the Pret was so good. Like again, this was
they had to buy local.
This was like a €5 sandwich that I bought, and it was the best cheese sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Smart.
It was so good.
But
have you tried? This is the height of luxury in a double-decker bus in Dublin.
Have you tried American cheese, Eric?
I have. I love American cheese, Brandon. And yet this was a little bit better. I love cheese sandwiches. I love grilled cheeses. I do love cheese. But we should get our shit together.
Yeah.
Very true.
I mean, you just have to buy from the right companies. That's what it is at the end of the day.
I just don't want to. I want to buy a €5 cheese sandwich and for it to be good. As much as I love moving money from my savings account to my checking account to buy Midnight Moon, Julia, I would rather just buy a €5 sandwich.
It's like, imagine if you went to McDonald's and the cheese on the McDonald's hamburger was like incredible, like Tillamook, cheddar or something. Like that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And also, like, I mean, I also love going to grocery stores in other countries. So going back there and getting like super cheap halloumi is just going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I'm still reeling from how cheap halloumi is in Europe.
I went to a weird, like local, not weird, just like super, like local, sort of nothing grocery store in Italy, and it was the weirdest experience of my life.
Tell
so
me.
much fun.
There's just pasta everywhere.
I love it.
Fresh, dried?
Yeah, bro.
Both, and just tons of different cheeses, and like, yeah, it was wild. It's just, yeah, to your point, Eric, like, it's just so weird the difference in the grocery stores from here to other countries.
I think it's so fun.
It's fun.
Like, there really isn't that much variation throughout the United States, though I do like going to regional grocery stores. Like, I have a little bit of a crush on Kroger right now, just from whenever I go when we visit my mom in Nashville, which we're going to the 5th through the 10th of July, which I'm very excited about. And especially now that Kroger bought Murray's Cheese, so they have a Murray's Cheese counter inside of Kroger, which I think is tight.
I got one in my Fred Meyer, baby.
I think you're going to be like, I have one in my fridge. It's called all the cheese I bought.
Shout out to the company that fired me. Woo!
Woo!
Was that the one that was a front for the mob, or was that a different one?
No, that was a different one. I quit that one. I didn't get fired from that one.
Oh, okay. So was your severance package Midnight Moon?
No, they didn't offer me a severance package.
Hey, fuck Murray. Hey, Murray,
I was
listen
an
to me.
hourly worker.
Listen to me, Murray.
Bummer.
Fuck you.
Bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Gruyere?
No.
So there isn't as much variance in grocery stores, but going to grocery stores in other countries is awesome. I'm mad that we didn't go in Norway to a grocery store. I think we should have.
The only one we saw was an international grocery store, which was just American food and Indian food and British food and other kinds of foods that we were quite used to finding. But they did have a lot of like cool sort of oil-packed, like pickled vegetables from the Mediterranean in a way that I think was like vaguely marketed as Turkish that we wouldn't find in typical grocery stores.
For sure. Also, I'm changing my brand to be vaguely marketed as Turkish.
I don't think you should do that, Eric.
Yeah, I was going to say probably not a good
All right,
idea.
I owe a PR company a lot of money. I already spent all of it on Midnight Moon, but I should pick up a job.
But no, I'm excited about that stuff too. And we're visiting my sibling in Syracuse and going to, for the first time in my life, the holy grail of Genesee Brewing Company in Rochester, New York. Producer of perhaps my favorite beer, their summer Ruby Red Kolsch, which Julia has
I haven't had that one.
Brought from Long Island, I almost said dispensaries, beverages to Brooklyn. I think last year for your birthday, maybe?
Yes.
I special ordered it this year for Eric's birthday. As you can tell, Eric's birthday at the beginning of the distribution series window for summer beer. And I am so excited. They have like things on tap in their obviously like brewery that they don't distribute. They have merch that I'm planning to spend a fair amount of money on. And on Wednesdays, they give away a free pint glass with every pint of beer. So I'm very excited.
I think we did structure our road trip around going there on Wednesday, didn't we?
We did not choose our destination orders based on when the pint night is.
That's fair.
So if you have like 4 pints, do they just give you 4 pint glasses?
It might be limited to 1 per person, but it didn't say that on the website. There will be 4 of us, so we'll walk away with 4, certainly.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Brandon, the Ruby Red Kolsch tastes like the Shiner Ruby Red, but it's a Kolsch instead of a light beer. Yeah. And I fucking love Ruby Red. For some reason, they are not doing that distribution of that beer in New York State. So we're going to our friend's house in New Jersey tomorrow on the 4th of July, and we're stopping at a liquor store so I can grab some where they do have distribution.
Yeah. When you look at the map,
or the Shiner?
The Shiner.
Of the Shiner.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even get the Shiner here. Like it's very
Yeah, it's really odd. Something has changed, I think, about their distribution, like partner or pattern.
They've very rarely done like the flavors outside. It's really only Ruby Red Vert, and it's pretty small compared to
they make the craziest shit. Like the prickly pear one is so good.
I remember like being in Texas when I was going to buy beer, and you could get one of the 24 packs of like 8 different flavors. It was fun. Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. And then they're like, here's a kolache, and you're like, oh, a regular thing. Everyone understands.
I didn't tell you guys. I went to a kolache place in Prague because that's sort of where I'm from.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
and they're from the Czech Republic, obviously. And so in Texas, they are they are a Texas thing because of Czech immigrants.
Yes.
And so the guy that I went, who owned the kolache place in Prague that I went to, I talked to him and he was like, "Oh yeah, I used to live in Ennis, which is this town outside of Dallas."
Oh, weird.
So weird.
And so it's like this weird, just combination of Texas and Czech Republic people. And I was like, "Oh yeah, you know West, which is the little area for kolaches in Texas." He's like, "Oh hell yeah, of course." It was so wild.
It's weird that he brought the kolache back from Texas to Prague.
Yeah.
That's
well,
what's
they don't
confusing.
they don't do the traditional kolaches in Texas, unless maybe I just haven't had them. But like the traditional one is like poppy seed.
Sure.
It's not very sweet, but yeah, it's really good.
Listen, you can put a hot dog in anything, and I'll say it's authentic. Whatever you want.
Seriously,
so, Eric, that's not the kolaches though. Those are the Texas kolaches.
No, I know. I'm talking about the Texas ones.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm saying generally about hot dogs. I'll say whatever you want. And I'll say whatever you want if you put a hot dog in it.
Incredible. There's a real Hamantashen kolache dumpling Venn diagram, all of which I'm into. Please sign me up for any of those intersections.
It's only a kolache if you put a jalapeno in it.
You're right. You're right. Otherwise, it's just sparkling wine.
Just a sparkling dumpling.
Cheeky Little Goat would like to know, folks, what is your favorite summer outfit right now?
Was this you? Did you write this question?
Are you the cheeky little goat?
It is completely plausible, but no, I am not Cheeky Little Goat. I did just want to extrapolate on my Kim Possible big pants little shirty sort of trend that I have identified in previous Third Party content to say that is also my fit of the summer. I have some loose sort of high-waisted pants, and then I have a number of crop tops that I really, really like. I finally found the elusive bra that can go under a crop top but not look like it's ruining the outfit, and so it's opened up a whole new sort of realm of possibility for me.
Would you say it's now Kim possible to do that?
It is Kim possible for me to wear parachutey high-waisted pants, little shirty every day of the summer.
Yeah, I'm very much a I don't know what this cut is for people who are wearing the video, but this kind of version of a crop top and just shorts.
Yeah, like a high
summer.
Neck, like a little mock turtleneck type situation, but it's sleeveless.
Yes.
It's not cut off sleeveless. It's got a more of a curve. Yeah.
Defined.
Stand up for the video, but this is the outfit that I basically wear all summer.
Yeah.
And then if it is cool enough, I will put a dad Hawaiian shirt or a Target Boys XL pattern shirt over that.
Shout out.
Everyone mark Target Boys XL on your bingo cards.
There you go. If I don't say it, they'll stop paying me.
That
would
What
Hashtag
did the
ad.
guy
grift of
negotiate
all
that
time.
sponsorship
It's
deal?
been a hashtag ad the whole time.
Oh, what? Whoops. I'm sorry.
Oh, my connection.
Amanda, would you say that this made it Kim Brossable for you to wear those shirts?
Hey, that's very good, Eric. I'd also say you're...
That's just why I was silent for 5 minutes.
Thank you. I'd also say you're living in Fit City, population Eric. Eric's really stepped up his fits over the last year, but specifically this summer. The fits are... They're giving comfortable, they're giving stylish, they're giving sustainably sourced, and they're giving...
Sustainably sourced?
Shoe hat combos for every outfit that you put together. Tell us about your fit journey.
Well, I don't know if you've seen, but the Abercrombie and Fitch stock price has been going way up. Diamond hands, hold on to that. No, man. I mean, it's been a lot easier to kind of find that stuff as social media has eroded. I think that the exposure to men's fashion in Reddit, people are finding that stuff, but a lot of that time people were just wear an Oxford shirt. So the rise of dye workwear.
Were they sick?
Yeah, they were sick because they're on Reddit. So the rise of dye workwear, who honestly is a wonderful, wonderful poster and has been giving out men's fashion advice like he's giving poppy seeded kolaches out to the poor. It's been great, and he's pointing me towards this guy who, and I gotta look this guy up, but he's a shop teacher in upstate New York, and he's this bigger dude, and he wears the best stuff, and I've been following him on Instagram and on Twitter for a while, and just seeing the stuff that he's been buying has been really helpful. So I've been buying better shorts that I like. My hats have been helpful. The t-shirts at Abercrombie and Fitch have been really helpful because a lot of them are cropped, and that's like actually the perfect size for me as a medium square shaped man. So that's been really helpful. And then I bought a bunch of jackets. If you saw me on the tour, you saw me wearing all those jackets. But those, plus I got this like barn coat from LL Bean that I wore a little bit. So just like figuring out some layering stuff has been nice. And yeah, wearing shorts I actually like have been good. Stoked on that.
Love it.
Yeah, shout out to Linen. Me and Linen best friends.
Oh, I do love a Linen. That's nice.
Yeah. Okay,
My
I'm gonna look up that guy.
Fit, in stark contrast to Eric, has proceeded to decline. Because I live in Seattle now, and everyone
you were wearing
here...
a great shirt the other day, Brandon. I just want to shout out that shirt. Yes. It was a good shirt.
It was.
I don't know what you're talking about. But everyone here in Seattle dresses like shit, and it's like a favorite pastime. And so I have no pressure to wear anything but something that covers my body.
Does that feel freeing to you?
I don't really I don't care about clothes very much. Like
your care is also deteriorated along with your fits.
I like to look nice occasionally. Like if I'm going to hang out or something, I'll put something cool on. But working from home and living in Seattle, it's like I got a hole in the crotch of my pants right now. It doesn't fucking matter.
No one will ever know.
Only the coffee ghost. Only the coffee ghost will know.
Excellent. We are going to move on to our next question, but Eric definitely will include
I'm going to keep looking this up because I need to. I got to shut
his name is
out.
David. He's like a watch
I think
restorer
it's David.
in Rochester, maybe. But no, he's a real Burly Man style icon. He really is.
I know. That's why I want to look it up because he's so great.
So here is a question from Catherine Frazier. What has been your favorite place to visit? And I'm going to limit it to like the last couple of years. What's like it can be, around your house. It could be like a new place you went to. It could be a place you just feel really cozy and at home. But I'd love to know in the last couple of years, what's been your favorite place you visited?
I don't know if this is my favorite, but I think the most surprising and therefore the one that readily springs to mind was Juneau. We went to Juneau, Alaska. It's such a cool little town. I mean, it was obviously very extremely cold, but it's like it's a really nice mix of like really down to earth sort of. I mean, it's Alaska. Like no one is terribly wealthy there, except for the robber barons who run the shipping. But
classic.
But yeah, like a nice mix of like very down to earth people, but also like they had like one of the best breweries I've ever been to was there. They have some like nice restaurants and like it's obviously on the water. Just very cool town. I think it's underrated.
Love it.
I feel like I haven't been doing enough traveling lately to answer this question really well.
But you have discovered a lot of new cool places near where you live. Is there any one of those that you're like, oh, like I'd love to hang out at this place and I can't imagine the life before I was able to do that?
Yeah, I mean there's a couple of like restaurants and bars and stuff that I feel like I've discovered or have opened fairly recently, but I'm trying to think of like a place where I'm like, yeah, this. You know what? I'll tell you. There's a place on Long Island on the like North Fork of Long Island, because if you're unfamiliar with Long Island, it looks like a fish. So on the north part of the tail.
Now, Julia, is there like a bumper sticker or a T-shirt or some sort of design you could burn into some wood I found on the beach that shows that?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I couldn't possibly tell you what it would look like, but yeah. But there's a town over there called Greenport, and Greenport has a lot of like really cute restaurants, really cute bars. It is like on the shore of the Long Island Sound, which is really beautiful and kind of in contrast to where I live on the South Shore, which is where the Great South Bay is. So it's a really nice kind of like getaway. Like Jake and I went on a little date night last weekend to Greenport and went to a bunch of really cool and cute places. So
that's fun. Are you saying that the Great South Bay sucks? Like
no, it's just like it is a very different vibe than the Great South Bay.
I'm quote tweeting what Brandon just said and said a summary of The Great Gatsby. First of all, I want to shout out the guy who was talking about. His name is David Lane. He's Big Fitz.
His name is David Lane.
His name is David Lane. He's so sick.
Is he also a sort of magician?
Of fashions, Brandon.
He's one off from being a magician.
Of going onto eBay and finding vintage coats. Big Fitz 1 on Instagram, and I think it's the same on Twitter. But he's just an incredible follow because he posts outfits all the time. Man, I just saying going somewhere colder during the summer, honestly. Just trying to find somewhere to go where I'm not sweating my balls off. Actually, we're doing a bunch of traveling this summer, and like at the end of the road trip that we're doing through New York State, we're going up to Canada, through Toronto, up to the Muskokas, which is where I went to summer camp, and I have not been back in a very long time. And I love being in the woods anyway. I love being in the woods in New York State, but just like that is an extension of that, because like there's so many more lakes in Canada, like everywhere, and also they have a culture of like summer houses more. Like everyone has a cottage, which is what they call them, because I think it's because they don't have to pay any money for college and for healthcare. Not that Canada is much better than the United States, but that is a thing.
No, it is.
That's one.
It's much better than the United States.
I listen. Who can say? I don't know. Who can say? So going up there is going to be really fun, and I do miss being in that area. My dad like invested in a hotel that was being built while we were at summer camp, like again 15 years ago. So he gets to like use the condo hotel rooms like twice a week, like for 2 weeks at a time, and we're gonna go stay there.
Invested? Do you mean he bought a timeshare?
Yeah, I'm like, that's just a timeshare.
No, it wasn't built yet, guys. He actually did invest in it. So I remember we were like 17 and at camp, and we were wearing hard hats, and we were like walking around in the thing. But my dad did say that there was a great opportunity somewhere at Celebration, Florida, which is unrelated. I don't know.
Yeah. Kept you in a hotel room for 14 hours.
yeah, right.
And then we got a voucher for a free appetizer.
Yeah, we were very excited about all the Mickey mice that were in the hotel room. So we're very I'm really excited to go back up there. It's been a long time, and just like being in lakes, like my family did grow up in Long Island, so I have spent a lot of time on beaches, but like, man, I love lakes. Lakes are great. And just being able to like jump in a big body of water and not be all salty, I'm like, hell yeah, dog.
Absolutely. We obviously went to Norway in the Arctic Circle for a honeymoon. It was incredibly cool. And I'm like never going to forget like all the different like sites and kinds of land that we saw that I've never seen before.
Kinds of land.
Yeah, like ways the earth could look that I didn't know they could look outside of photos. But I actually have our laundromat moved in the last couple of years. Our neighborhood keeps closing laundromats to turn into restaurants, one of which is called Laundromat. And it's fine dining, and it fucking blows.
It sucks.
I hate it here. But one of here being Earth, not
existence.
Greenpoint.
Existence. Greenpoint good. Existence
great.
bad.
And so anyway, long story short, I have to go to a new laundromat, and it's next door to a dive bar, it's kind of like a not really divey. It's like a little bit fancy, but its backyard is beautiful. It's like really perfectly sort of canopied by trees. They have a $10 hibiscus margarita in the summers. And my absolute favorite thing to do is to like nurse one margarita for 2 hours and sit in the backyard, either between doing laundry or just reading, when the weather is nice. And the fact that it's shady means it extends the weather window in which I can be not acutely uncomfortable sitting outdoors.
Yeah. It's big enough you're surprised that it's back there, but also like, they're not nice backyards. It's usually just like some back, almost like an alley that they've just like thrown some gravel on, but it's almost like there's enough trees that it actually seems like a nice place to hang out for an extended period of time.
Yeah, and lots of planters, the old a duck feed trough from Tractor Supply turned into a planter. So it feels like established and a little bit like a secret.
Yeah.
So I like hanging out there.
Didn't we have like a long conversation where the coffee ghost was trying to convince us that eating outside was good? Do you remember this?
I don't remember that specific conversation, but the coffee ghost loves eating outside.
I agree with the coffee ghost. I love eating outside.
I think eating outside is against nature. I think
I think fundamentally you're wrong.
No, I think humans decided a long time ago that it would be best to shield food from other things.
We invented indoors. We did.
So I think that is wrong, and outdoors too chaotic. I like the controlled environment of temperature and no other things try to eat my food.
I'm 100% with you there, and it's also because there's nowhere good to eat outside in New York City, and I think like this is one of the places that it might actually. It's nice to hang out.
Love it.
Yeah.
I did have a follow-up question from Cheeky Little Goat Eric that you reminded me of just a minute ago, which is if you do go swimming, do you prefer the beach, a boat, or a pool? Or I'll add in a lake.
Well, I do also want to say, I think, Amanda, you were the cheeky little goat in Go Party, so this could actually be Amanda.
I think it is Amanda. That's what I'm saying.
Surprising no one, I'm a beach girly.
Yeah, well, that's because of that curse Poseidon has on you that you have to go in the water once a week, or that he'll take
curse
back
or blessing.
Yeah. He'll take back Jake? Question mark.
He'll try to take away my my ability to see the future.
Oh yeah. But or maybe he'll keep it and no one believes you. Now is that worse or better? That's
worse. It's worse.
Yeah. If only there was a story about that had a moral.
Shit.
I am not a big swimming fan. I grew up with a bunch of pools and stuff in Texas, and I don't really care to get wet unless it's a shower.
Quote tweet the great summary of the Great Gatsby.
If I had to pick, I mean, I love being on a boat, like going boating and doing boat things. That's always fun. I don't want to get
rich
into
boy.
water. I don't have a boat.
Damn, dude, we got him back finally. It fucking happened.
Julia, you're the person I would, if a gun to my head, someone said find a boat. You're the person I'd call. You're the most proximate to boats.
Yeah. But Brandon keeps saying that boats are rich people things.
They are.
In Texas, the only person allowed to have a boat is still JFK.
I'm just gonna Google how much is a boat real quick.
I'm sure it's a
Boats
lot.
are stupid expensive, Brandon. That's
Okay, then what are we talking about?
But it's like you buy that instead of a second car where you come from. It's like
what? I can't even afford a second car, Julia.
It's just like a solidly middle class thing, is what I'm saying.
There needs to be. You need to realize that there are trashy boats out there.
Yeah,
trashy boats.
There's a free boat from someone that you put like an old motor that you restored onto, and it may or may not be seaworthy. But there you go.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about a yacht, brand. I'm talking about like a 20-foot like boat, you know?
And the name of the boat is like, oops, there goes my alimony or something.
I don't know, guys.
Thanks, Trisha.
It's just named Thanks, Trisha.
Yeah, honestly, it's a sick name for a boat. I'm gonna say
Thanks, Trisha, #S for sarcasm.
Exactly.
That's really good. I like that.
Or and you could be like, I'm just thanking Trisha for the lessons she imparted to me.
Our relationship is great, and that's why I should see Cassandra more on the weekends.
The one exception, I do really enjoy hot tubs.
Yeah, hot tubs are great.
Okay.
Hot tubs are great. Eric, is it lake for you of all these available bodies of water?
I don't know, because like I don't get the chance to swim in lakes a lot. So I swam in like a Great Lake once, on Lake Erie, which is where my grandparents used to live. And I like swimming in lakes, but they get freaking cold. But I think I should say like I would rather swim in a lake that has a dock on it though, because jumping out of a boat, you're like, oh, dang, where am I going to go with all this wet? I guess back in the boat, the place that's not supposed to have wet.
Yeah.
So I feel like tracking water into a boat is just more annoying than anything else. So yeah, I would say a lake because it's nice, the fresh water, and then getting onto a dock from an old weird ladder is pretty great.
Yeah, we like a swimming platform or something you could like lay on it, you know, and
yeah,
go back
exactly.
into the lake. That would be awesome.
Oh man, yeah, the dock is there, but then like 200 feet out is a platform. I love that stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's ideal. Love it. All right, folks, here is another question from Mage. What is an unparalleled and iconic activity/food or drink pairing to you? So let me tell you a little more. Mage said, not your favorite food specifically, but a food or a drink paired with a specific activity. Like for him, he almost never eats burgers, but after a long hike, the like burger beer combo just like is perfection. Is there a food and drink activity combo?
Yeah, I got this. For sure, 100%. It is a bagel with cream cheese and coffee, and I am on a form of transportation where I am not driving. Whether that is me in the passenger seat or me on a train or me on a bus. That is incredibly ideal. I am like imagining me maybe on the subway going to the beach. Could be one, going to Jacob Riis, which is an incredible beach out all the way out in New York City. It could be me taking the MTA or the LARR, like upstate to Long Island, or it can be me being able to eat like breakfast someone bought me and they're driving and I'm not driving. It would be absolutely perfect.
I mean, I gotta say, I agree, but that's a high risk choice you made there, man.
But
bagel can fall, coffee can spill.
But like the coffee is like incredibly wrapped in like cellophane.
Oh, that's true.
They only do that in New York. Big straw, and also it has to be a bagel with cream cheese and nothing else on it because it's like a block of cream cheese, so it's not going to drip.
Okay.
Like it's very compact.
Gotcha.
And could it even be like an airport bagel? Like the type of bagel? Is it not? Is like the quality of the bagel is less important than like the context and fact of it?
No, airports are for like the only thing that's cost effective at an airport is drinking alcohol. Fair. So it's like if I have a bagel at an airport, I'm like, God damn it, why was this $27? I'm so upset.
What about spending $60 to get into the Delta Lounge, Eric? Isn't that cost effective?
That is cost effective because Amanda has 17 credit cards, so I'm allowed to get into the Delta Lounge.
Or if your flight is delayed and you have to purchase a meal in the airport, it's probably going to be better to just get a day pass to the lounge.
I don't think that's true anymore, actually. Not the Delta Lounge.
Really?
Because it's like, I think it's $50 now for a guest, and you can't get a guest in unless you just can't get a guest in. Like,
that's silly.
See, this is what happens, though, is that if a guest isn't allowed, I'm going to sit like a little puppy outside of the Delta Lounge, and then Amanda brings in a cup and smuggles in as many egg cups as she can into the cup that she has. And
we saw that happen live.
It was awesome, and then I ate so many sausages.
Yeah.
Julia, how about you? Food activity pair?
Yeah, I think it's like, I guess I'm like in still like the same mode that we were just talking about. So like swimming at the beach, exhausted, come back on land, cold beer, cold cut sandwich. And as we know, I'm not a big sandwich person.
No.
But sandwich at beach with like bag of potato chips or like cheese doodles and also a beer after being exhausted and like half drying in the sun is like perfect.
That's amazing.
You introduced me, I forget what we were doing now, but you took us to a sandwich place once, and now that I'm remembering it. Was it on Long Island? I think it was on Long Island, because I think we were going out to your parents' place.
Yeah, so, I think because other people
you're
like
a sandwich hypocrite, Julia.
I'm not a sandwich hypocrite. I take I'm very specific about the sandwiches that I eat and when I want to eat them. I don't go out and think what can I get? I guess a sandwich. No, that's not. Sure. It requires certain circumstances in my mind.
Yeah.
Would you say you're a sandwich-a-crib?
No, I wouldn't. I would not say that.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
He's simmering.
Let him layer.
No, that was it.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them. I think, obviously, the classic is movies with popcorn and candy. I prefer Reese's Pieces, but other people can have their candy of choice.
Do you mix it in the popcorn bucket or you keep them separate?
I will mix them in my hand and eat it.
Fair.
But I don't like to, because I feel like their densities are different for Reese's Pieces specifically.
Yes, they are.
They end up at the bottom, and then you're like, meh.
Yeah. And then one of my favorites is and I'm not a huge live sports fan or a huge hot dog fan necessarily. I like both those things, but there's something about a combo of a night baseball game, and a hot dog, and or nachos. That's just and an open air stadium, of course.
Sure.
The hot dog at a baseball stadium was among my top answers as well. It's so good. Maybe because we're talking about airports, there's something about like the salted mixed nuts or tiny pretzels on an airplane that feels right. My sister and I would always order growing up a ginger ale and a cranberry juice and then mix them in our cups in like slightly different ratios. And so the like ginger ale, cranberry juice, these days I might, throw in a mixer if I'm drinking on the plane. And then like little salty snack is so pleasing to me.
I don't know what it is, but I love the fuck out of airport or airplane food, not airport food. But like getting a meal on an airplane is just like the best.
It's joyous.
It feels
really is
crazy. It's like, what future tech am I in?
Yeah.
I feel like a little like kindergartner sitting down at the cafeteria table going like, give me my plate, give me my plate.
I truly cannot remember the last time that I had a meal on an airplane. So
yeah. You
can't
can't
mostly international travel these days.
Yeah. Amanda, I was really surprised that you didn't give this answer, and maybe I'll give it for you, because Brandon did bring up food at a movie theater, and I would have thought, because it combines your two favorite things, one is little plates of stuff, and two, crime.
Small crime?
Small crime.
Hacking.
So I thought you would have
Eric,
paired...
do you want to make me upset again? Are we just going to talk about Amanda doing crimes in a movie theater?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Amanda's smuggling in the most elaborate stuff possible into a movie theater, I thought would have, and then you eating it, I thought would have made your list. Like an entire charcuterie board in the movie theater.
Those are very notable food memories, but honestly, because there's such a good Chinese restaurant near our go-to movie theater, we'll typically eat that before or after a movie. And so I haven't been doing as much sneaking as I'm used to.
Dang.
So I'm gonna get back on the horse,
One last
You
heist,
found
one last job.
Jesus.
Just one last one, and it certainly will.
Brandon,
go
it's one last job.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Don't worry about it.
Eric, here's a question hot and fresh from Mixel91. What will be your next ice cream adventures? And for the others, what do you want Eric to make you?
I already requested this in person, but olive oil sea salt ice cream, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can send you the I have the salt and straw, obviously a recipe for that if you want.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Yeah, you can send that to me. That'll be fun.
Eric, we got to make sister creams, sibling creams.
What is that?
What is
that?
sibling
What the
creams?
fuck are you talking about?
I'm
It
making
sounds
something up right
gross
now.
and I don't like it.
We both make ice creams that are separate by an entire country, but they're together.
But they're the same. And then we can sing about them like Fievel.
Like Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap.
Where? Eat some ice cream. There. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling really good. The most recent batch that I made last weekend came out really good. And one Julia Schifini has had it, so she can say it was really good.
It
right?
was very good.
Yeah. I made tahini chocolate chunk, which came out really good. I got some fancy milk from the fancy grocery store. And they had like cream on the top of the bottle. And I'm like, ooh, what am I? A milkman? That milkman's gonna fuck my wife? That's crazy. And then Amanda's like, no, lactose intolerant. But so that came out really good. And also the sorbet that I made like a strawberry sorbet that came out so good. And me and Amanda and two of our friends just like ate it all up because you're supposed to eat it fresh.
Like standing around the ice cream maker.
It was so good.
Damn.
And like, yeah, it was strawberry sorbet, and we put a ton of white balsamic glaze on it and some chocolate chips. It was really good.
That sounds really good.
So the thing, I have two flavors that I'm going to make next. Also, I want to shout out, get this ice cream maker. It's good. It's so good. And it's so much better than the cheap ice cream maker you can get. Just get it.
One with a compressor instead of the frozen
It's
bowl.
the middle one on Wirecutter, the middle choice.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two that I want to make. One is pumpkin. I saw a pumpkin recipe in the Ben & Jerry's recipe book, and I want to make it because I always make pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, and it has like bourbon and maple syrup and stuff in it. But the thing that we always do is, because I don't fuck with making the crust anymore because it just doesn't make any sense. But I found chocolate graham cracker crusts a lot, so I want to fold in chocolate graham cracker pieces.
Yeah,
or even the pie. I might just take the pie and then didn't mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do that.
Like Portillo's.
Yeah.
They do the full slice of cake.
Oh, like the shell, like the pre-made shell of chocolate graham cracker pie. You can just like, shatter it.
Yeah,
and
just like
fold
shatter
it.
That
and
sounds really good.
mess it up.
May I suggest you take a graham cracker crust, a regular one, freeze it, and then and then like magic shell or chocolate, so you get both the chocolate and the graham cracker bits.
It's like chocolate coated graham cracker.
Oh, that's a really good
great
idea. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna do what Brandon said. I'm gonna do that. And then there is a mimosa sorbet recipe in the Ben and Jerry's book that I've been lusting after the entire time. It's literally just like a cup and a half of orange juice, a cup and a half of champagne, and like a little bit of sugar.
Do you want to make that for tomorrow for our friends?
Oh, how?
And then bring it down to them.
No, because the sorbet should be fresh. So
no,
the thing that I said in the beginning.
Right.
So
you can have sorbet not fresh. It's
so good fresh.
And it really does not taste the same.
It froze a little weird the first attempt.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do have to add some like corn syrup or something to keep it soft.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that. I think it's gonna be good.
Delish.
Yeah.
Brandon, any request for what your sister cream is going to be coming soon to TLC?
Please stop saying sister cream.
I got the Van Leeuwen book for my mom for my birthday. I mean, for Derek Jeter's birthday.
At some undisclosed point in the last 12 months, Brandon did have a birthday.
We celebrated Derek Jeter's birthday in this house. So I'm going to make my favorite ice cream is probably the Earl Grey from them because it tastes like Fruit Loops and it's so good. Nice. So I was thinking, I don't have Earl Grey on me, but I have a bunch of teas, like high-end teas. So I was thinking about experimenting with that base recipe, but some other various teas I have. So
they're always
like a hibiscus one would be really good.
They're always experimenting over at Sister Creams. It's crazy. Hey, wait, did we tell you the Van Leeuwen news that's happening near the office?
No.
Okay.
They opened a scoop shop, right?
No. Oh, Julia, it gets crazier.
Oh, no, you did tell me, but share with Brandon, please.
Near the office, next to the laundromat that turned into the restaurant called Laundromat, next to that, Van Leeuwen is opening up a scoop laboratory. A scoopatory?
A scoopatory?
Yeah, scoopatory. And like they're gonna do wild shit in there. And they've been very cagey about it. Our local like microblog Green Pointers reached out to Van Leeuwen and be like, what is this? And they're like, we're gonna do some really special stuff there. Don't worry about it.
I hate this voice.
So it's like
I love it.
It's just like gonna be experimental stuff. There's been some experimental kitchens for like Shake Shack before that I've been to. It's like in the West Village. So I've been there.
Chipotle has one, right?
Chipotle has. I used to have one in New York City as well, and I've been to those, and they're cool. But here's the other thing: we also saw that there is now a social media content creator position for Van Leeuwen that's opening up. We're like, oh, LOL, that's so funny. But here's the weird thing: you need to live in New York City, preferably Brooklyn, to get the job. So I wonder if they're going to keep doing incredibly wild stuff at this new scoop shop, which is, again, 2 blocks away from the office. And they're going to make content out of it, so it's going to be even crazier.
Oh, I bet. You know Van Leeuwen is based in Greenpoint, right? Like that's where they're starting.
Their original scoop shop is the one in our neighborhood, and it's so
sucks.
tiny.
It's so bad.
It's tiny. It sucks. Yeah, people like you can't get a lot of service there. So I bet this is like their R&D lab content home, and
exactly.
It's like literally almost within an eye shot of the studio. It's so close.
That sounds awesome. I'm very excited. Next time I'm in New York and visit, we should go there.
Yes.
sure.
And Van Leeuwen's vegan cookie cream caramel crumble whatever vegan ice cream is my favorite vegan ice cream ever. So if that recipe's in there, Brandon, that can be
I'm
a
sure
sister
it is.
cream.
Yeah, I'll look at it when I get off. But the funniest thing about that book, though, as I was reading through it, is that it's Van Leeuwen, so it's extremely fancy. It's beautiful colors and like beautiful photographs. There's just so many white people looking so happy in this book.
Like a West Elm catalog.
Like white girls with freckles just looking so anthropology.
Damn.
And I think it's fly when the girls walk by with Van Leeuwen in their ice cream. Van Leeuwen, it's so expensive now too. So like expensive. I was so out on Van Leeuwen because I got the ice cream maker, and now it's like, here's our R&D department, and it's 2 blocks away from where you work. I'm like, God damn it!
As soon as I thought they were out, Eric, they pulled me back in.
You're absolute motherfuckers.
Exactly. All right, folks, here is a great question from Sebalicious. What TTRPG gaming systems would you like to try after Camp-Paign 3? Not a promise, just ones that intrigue you.
Interesting. One that I want to try, but I don't think would fit well with our whole thing is that like Pride and Prejudice one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know which one I'm
Yeah,
talking
Good
about?
Society.
Totally.
Yeah.
Good Society. Yeah. I think that would be like very fun to play, but I don't think it would be like fun for us to do on microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little extended. It's really odd because it's like Good Society was in the beginning of like the boom of independent tabletop RPGs, and like, oh, you can make lyric games and you can make role-playing games. So there's a lot of like, it's both incredibly role-play heavy, but also incredibly fiddly. Like there's so many little like epistolary tokens and like qualities that you need to assign to people, and you fitting into Austinian archetypes very, very pat. So I listened to Friends at the Table do it, and I know there's been some other games that have been inspired by it. I know they shoved it into a season of Dimension 20 at some point, but yeah, it's like it's interesting. Like, you're both trying to do something that's extremely what you want it to be. You want it to be a Jane Austen novel, and yet, like, there needs to be all this, like, capital G game stuff layered on top of it. So it's like both. It is, you need to, like, have an imagination and be an actor and be super plugged into gamesmanship and care deeply about Jane Austen novels.
I mean, I think you just described us, Eric. So specifically me.
Yeah, you're all four of those, my man.
I am a best actor. I love Jane Austen.
I know you were so good voice acting in all those video games. I can't. Living in LA did so much for you, and I'm so glad you pursued your dreams.
I'm so poor now.
Oh man, I'm very interested in Kids with Capes, which is the new game from the Kids on Bikes people. I really like Kids on Bikes. It's a very interesting system and pretty rules light. I wonder the veering into Kids with Wands. What is that one called? Kids on Brooms.
Kids with Brooms.
Yeah.
Kids with Wands is really good.
Kids with Wands. It's like, I think that they did the same thing I just described with Good Society. It's almost like they got too caught up in Harry Potter to like really let the game breathe. But I'm wondering, since there's so much more like stuff to do when we're talking about superhero stuff, I'm very interested to see what that happens. But of course, my heart is with masks, always with masks. Like if we're gonna play superhero teens, it's gonna be masks. But no, there's some other stuff that I've been kicking around, and of course, like I'm running my own game, so I'm feeling pretty cool about that.
Hey.
I guess it means that we're gonna have to play the children of our Camp-Paign 2 characters. So
yeah, but it was. I mean, I don't mean to like talk out of school because it's your character, but like you did say Milo canonically could never fuck.
Yeah, I did.
Interesting.
I did delete that from the podcast though.
Oh,
so
good.
like,
I put it back.
The tape, it's not there.
Oh, I put it back. Did you not notice?
We're on the feed right now.
It was in the first episode. You said it really clearly.
Folks, here is another question from Mage Silverleaf. What is your favorite type of art to observe? Which I thought was a wonderful question and something that we may not always touch on. Art to observe.
Oh, observe is an interesting word. Yeah.
Because
I think it's like, go ahead, Amanda.
No, I was going to say, like, I don't think it's my favorite type of art to consume because that would probably be reading. I think games are really beautiful and I like watching people play them and playing them myself. But I really love like a site-specific art installation, like big sculptures in, a big sculpture park, like Storm King here in New York. Every summer, the Metropolitan Museum of Art commissions an artist to make art specifically for their roof. And so like one year I met my cousin there and it was like a Gothic house. One year it was like a maze of mirrors. And I feel like I don't fully understand it, but that's sort of why I like observing it, because I can walk into a place and it's like a light installation or like one of those rooms in museums where like projectors are doing cool things. And I'm like, wow, this is really interesting and making me think of my relationship to space. And it's not a feeling I often have.
Have you been to the room in New York City that's just filled with dirt?
No.
Oh, you should go. It's just on Wooster Street. It's just down there.
Is that the underground garden path thing?
No, that's a different one. I've also been there. That place is cool. But no, David Roth, who is the host of the Distraction, the show that I produce, he just wrote a blog about it over on Defector. And it's just a room. It's an apartment in a building. in the West Village, and it's just filled with dirt.
That sounds up my alley.
It's sick.
Let's go.
I think you should take some seed packets there and just like slyly throw them in there.
Nightmare.
Brandon, that's literally called terrorism. which explains it. Good suggestion.
I do love a small crime.
Yeah. I wonder how much crime. I guess that crime would grow because it's
yeah. And it's like, am I culpable for the crime I committed or the consequences of the series I set in action?
Hey, Supreme Court, can you get on this case, please?
Oy.
Julia, what kind of art do you like to observe?
Theater, I think, especially like interactive theater. Like I'm getting a lot more into that. And like I would also say that interactive theater into the point of where it becomes basically a haunted house.
Fair.
That's the kind of stuff that I dig.
Very Julia.
Eric, I cut you off though. What were you gonna say?
No, just more about the Supreme Court. Julia, what is the line of haunted house? Like, where does something become less X and more haunted house? Because I don't think it's the screams. I think it's about like with the door locks behind you. That's how I felt about Sleep No More, where it's like, oh, I'm in a haunted house, even though it's just like weird guys going like this all over the place. Even if you didn't hear that, maybe you heard it in my voice. But it's like, I think that the door closing behind you, I feel like was the thing that really brought me into that kind of line.
You know what? I honestly wouldn't even say that because I think 90% of the haunted houses that I go into, no door closes behind me.
Sure.
You know? So like
there hasn't been a door here in 40 years.
Nice.
I think the line for, and this is such a like, nitty gritty differential, but the line for what makes a haunted house versus like interactive theater is like the actor hitting their mark or hitting a cue as opposed to like actually interacting with the audience member. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's like choreography of like screams or events versus, like this character is like Lady Macbeth and she's going to like walk around looking weird.
Yes. But like that's also the thing where it's like I just said that actor has a cue, which still makes it feel like theater to me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Even if the cue is just like jump out and scream,
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like this performance of Macbeth. I wish there were more screams. I wish there was more chainsaw.
I think
a lot
that's
of screams
true.
in Macbeth. Yeah. Mostly for me as I watch it.
Being like, "What? Just figure it out!
Communicate!
You're gonna figure out why the wood moves. It's not a secret. It's not a riddle. Have you heard of C-sections?
If you know anything about childbirth, you can put 2 and 2 together. Come on."
Oh God, we saw Macbeth though was so bad, so I keep thinking about that whenever.
You have to cleanse the palate with another production.
I know, truly.
Brandon, did you have did you? Sorry,
Eric didn't get to go either. So yeah.
I mean, video games is certainly one up there. Video games and TV are the ones that I'm really there for. I think it's nice, like knowing that something can be stupid or straightforward and still be like in the same thing of art. I feel this way about action movies, like being part of the film oeuvre, but like I'm just not like a cinephile like that. I really do like TV more than movies. So it's kind of nice being like, oh, I'm gonna watch like my sports stuff, but also I'm gonna watch The Bear, and that's like on a continuum somewhere in between. And I can think about that in a similar way because it's like ongoing production, seasonal stories, seasonal storytelling, etc. And yeah, I mean, I've just like video games, man. Video games are great. It's nice. It is really nice. The video games are like the line where it's like, I don't do this. So, and I have moved back from talking about them, not only because video game journalism is like so fucking confusing right now and is a zero-sum game if you didn't like work at Game Informer for 10 years already. But so it was kind of nice, like not having like whatever criticism I have, capital C criticism of games is like I can keep it to myself and it's just like a thought I have. And it's like a little independent thing instead of like participating in a content creation thing, which is a different kind of like, art viewership, like the question is supposing.
Mm-hmm. I agree with all the TV stuff. I that's probably my favorite thing to consume in general. I think I really like just going to art museums. I know that's like boring, but like especially like painting museums, or like sculpture stuff, like very classic museum shit. I very much enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. That's it.
Do you have like a not world famous museum you had a good time in?
I mean, I think I don't know what the line of world famous is, but
not like the Louvre or like
the Met,
the Met.
something
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
pretty
you know?
much it.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of museums in Paris that were amazing. The modern one, I think it's like the some with a P. Modern art one was amazing. The Musée d'Orsay, the Musée, the Water Lilies one, I forget.
De l'Orangerie.
Yes, thank you. Was amazing.
You know, the obscure
Yeah.
Paris museums. That's what Brandon's into.
I mean, that's
Well, that's what I
fair.
was saying, they're
Honestly,
world famous too.
I literally meant any
Yeah.
painting museum other than the Met and the Louvre.
My favorite
Yeah,
Paris
yeah.
museum was I got to the Louvre too early, and one of their like outbuilding museums was open before the main Louvre, and it was the like art and design and furniture museum, and so it's built like a gigantic Z, where like each inclined plane of like a ramp of the museum, like the whole museum's a ramp, and so you proceed through human history from like early cave dwellings to now, and just like
Cool.
see how furniture changed. It
That's
was
cool.
incredibly metal. It was so good.
Can we shout out some other like cool but weird museums that
Hell
we
yeah.
all enjoy?
Sure.
My like real suggestion one is I think a lot of people don't appreciate the cloisters, which is
The
the like
cloisters are so good.
the like medieval branch of the Met that's like all the way north in basically like in Manhattan in like Harlem area, and it's fucking beautiful. It's
like in
you
the
walked-
woods.
Yeah.
it's like you walked into like the woods in New York City, and then a like monastery is just there.
And
for some reason.
they indeed airlifted a monastery from Italy or France or some shit into Fort Tryon Park in the Bronx. So they did it.
I've only been during the winter, so I would recommend
You have to go
not
during summer.
doing that.
Yes. And in the summer they have like a poison garden and an herb garden and like
Yeah.
exfoliate fruits. It's very cool.
And then my other suggestion is if you're ever in LA to go to the Museum of Jurassic Technology.
Oh, sure.
Oh yes,
I will not
heard of it.
describe it any further
Mhm.
than that. You just need
Yeah.
to go and observe it.
It's a little weirdo.
Yeah. It's smaller
do-
than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah.
It's like you think, that's going to be an all day thing. And then it's like 30 minutes.
It's
and
like
you're
a store.
Do you want to go to In-N-Out?
I spent a good like hour and a half in there and had a great time for sure.
It might be different after COVID, TBH, because I feel,
That's
or maybe
true.
we went too close to 2020.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly.
I'd love a natural history museum. That's one of my favorites, the science museum. I don't think it's really art necessarily, except for like there's occasionally some art stuff in there. but,
Dioramas
like,
and stuff, yeah.
I just love the science museum. So yeah, the natural history museum in New York. We went to the I forget what it's called, but like the main. We just got back from Prague, and the main like Prague museum, like the official one and whatever, had like a big old evolution wing. That was very cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I
That's
love doing
very
those things.
Cool.
For a museum I really like, I think that you should go to a taco place and just kind of look at the Al Pastor meat cone
Yeah.
and just like,
Yeah.
observe that for a little
It's
while.
beautiful.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what a fusion of human innovations.
Yeah, and being like, wow, I can't believe that 5'2" man with the knife could get such deft pieces of pineapple off the top of the Al Pastor.
So far above his head.
He's so small.
How he do?
I know, Manuel's crushing it.
Truly. On a first name basis with the Pastor guys at our local taqueria.
Yeah, shout out Manuel.
Naturally.
Here is a wonderful question that I felt very touched by. This is by Ginger. Is there a childhood memory that looking back was a good indicator of the kind of adult you would be? Like creative, bossy, silly, etc. And maybe it's because there's new lives coming into the world any minute now of Brandon's new nephews. But does something come to mind for you all?
I have lots of bad memories of anxiety and
Sure.
and depression.
That's definitely the tone.
Good, Brandon. I was
for.
gonna say so I was coming back from summer camp in 5th grade, and then my parents said they were getting divorced.
Well, shit, guys. This is not really what I invited you over.
Brandon started it.
Into
I wasn't
my
gonna do it. Brandon
conversation
started it.
To do.
Brandon started it.
But we can go
2
there.
babies. He's gonna be a
babies.
grunkle.
Oh, here's a good one. I remember going to it's not like so I remember going to some of the first music lessons I ever took were for drums, for drum kit. And I was like, I had to have been like 3rd grade, really young, and the guy that I went to was the nicest man on the planet, super great drummer, great guy, but he was like fully tatted up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really young and just scared of everything. So, like, the idea of like learning music and learning to get over anxiety of this scary musician man.
I love little Brandon with tattooed drummer man in 2002.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's like, in 4 years, I'm gonna be a ska teen. That's awesome. Jules, Eric?
I have a lot of memories of being an only child playing in my backyard by myself and just like making up stories.
Yeah.
So I think that feels like a good indicator of the kind of adult I turned out to be.
That's really sweet.
No. I got to think of mine. Amanda, do you have?
A lot of like coming up against the human limits of how many library books I could carry home. And in kindergarten, I presented a petition to the librarian at my elementary school because kindergartners had their own like picture books that were like, appropriate reading level that they like put out for kindergartners to choose from. And I was like, no, I read that and that's for babies. So like I need to access more. And then she was like, Amanda.
Anna Karenina.
Yeah. And she's like, well, Amanda, like you're not, it's kindergartners. You can't kindergarten books. And I was like, who do I have to talk to? Like, do I have to get signatures? And so I wrote up a letter, got my parents to sign it saying that they gave permission, and then talked to my teacher, and she was like, I guess. And so I brought it to the librarian. The librarian's like, shit, whatever, fine, like go read. And then she like literally like pulled back a rope to allow me into the section of the library with other books. And I was just like, there are like, again, what felt like thousands of books with like shelves going up to as far as I could see, in reality, probably a few hundred, where I was like, I haven't read a single one of these. And it was so just cute. Like the world opens to me.
I would, speaking of library memories, before I went to Stephen F. Austin Academy School for the Gifted and Talented,
the Charles
Xavier talented boarding school, yeah.
I was at just like a regular old school, and in kindergarten, 1st grade, I think I switched in 2nd grade. So those 2 grades, like my teachers would just give me all of my work for the day in a packet. And just say, here you go. And I'd finish it in like 10 minutes. And then they would say, all right, go to the library. So I'd spend 7 hours in the library at school.
That's ideal.
So
cute.
Let's see. Oh, I have one that my mom tells all the time. She really likes this because she really likes telling any story that involves her like yelling at customer service. So this is a similar type of story. When I was in 4th grade, I was reading a book. And I was inside during recess, and I was reading a book because you were allowed to do that. And then at some point, the bell rang and the class started. And of course, I was just like sitting at my desk reading a book. And the way my 4th grade teacher had told it was that he said he tried to get my attention multiple times, and then I got lunch detention for reading during class. And what did I do during lunch detention? I picked up the same book that I had before, and I just kept reading. So when my mom tells this story, she's like, wait a second, so you're telling me, and you can only imagine it's 1998.
Eyeliner is blue, the hair is curled.
Yes, my mom is like nose to nose with my 4th grade teacher. Like, so you're telling me that you gave Eric lunch detention for reading, and then the entire time he was reading during the lunch detention. Now, do you think he learned any lesson from that? And I'm like, these are scary stories to read in the dark.
So cute.
So I like that story.
That.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Julia and I also made trading cards of the Greek gods based on like a big encyclopedia in the elementary school library. Sure. And I remember I don't know whose Scotch tape we took. We had to use like 2 rolls of Scotch tape, but we like laminated it with tape at our like over recess one day.
That's really cute.
And
I love that.
Sticks with me.
Yeah.
Cute.
And now you can buy those tarot cards on
basically
spiritspodcast.com/merch.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And
thanks for the plug, Brandon.
Thank you. Finally, here is an invitation from Mixel91, which I thought was a wonderful way to end, which is there just something you want to tell us about? Something on your mind?
The thing that's been on my mind for the past 2 days, or at least a day, and has been I'm anxious about it right now.
It's been like 20 hours.
No, not that.
Oh.
Different thing.
I assume
that's all fine.
She's about multiple things at once.
Okay.
That's all fine. Everything's going fine.
Okay.
She's fine. My blueberry plant all the leaves have turned red, and it's because I did not put it in the right soil acidity, and so I have repotted it. But then I realized that the soil acidifier is going to take too long, so I need to go out and find specifically acid azalea, whatever hydrangea
stuff,
soil,
yeah.
And I can't find it anywhere.
No.
And I don't know what to do.
Can you use citric acid or like a diluted cooking acid?
I don't know that works, though. I don't know. Yes, I probably could, but I don't know.
Because I know
so I'm panicked about it, Amanda.
I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm sorry.
Have you considered that your blueberry is a shiny and it's super rare, and that's why it's red? Like a Gyarados?
Oh,
that's
really
I
like that.
cute.
It's going to become a ghost Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah, it might be a variant.
Julia?
All I can think in my head is all the leaves turn red, all the leaves turn red.
And the sky is gray.
And the sky is gray.
No blueberries for
No
Brandon.
blueberries for Brandon.
Now I'm crying all day.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I have a fun fact that I want to share with everybody about the Donkey Kong family tree.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my god.
I saw this.
Yeah. In the Multitude Discord, which you guys can all join if you go on the Multitude website. It's super easy to get in there. We have a question of the day channel, and someone asked about one of the questions was who your favorite Mario character is, and they were talking about Donkey, and of course I was talking about Donkey Kong. And Rue, who used to be our community manager, was like, "Wait, I thought Mario and Donkey Kong were enemies, especially going all the way back to the original arcade game." And here's the thing: this is canonical. The Mario from the arcade, that isn't even Mario. His name is Jumpman. It's just some other dude. It's not even Mario.
I thought his name was Jumpman Mario.
No, his name is Mario.
Well, I did know that, which is insane.
Which is also insane. But
is Jumpman Mario his dad or grandpa?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I need to look into that because I don't know that one on hand. I thought it was a different guy who was Jumpman, or maybe it was just his nickname. It's fine. Maybe it was just part of his job.
Cool.
But canonically, this is a real one, is that the Donkey Kong from that game, the original Jumpman game, is our current Donkey Kong's grandfather, who is known as Cranky Kong in the Donkey Kong Country games.
Wow.
And then
I learned that
Donkey Kong, and then Donkey Kong Jr. is Donkey Kong's dad, which also was an arcade game.
That's crazy.
And then there's Donkey Kong, and then Diddy Kong is Donkey Kong's son. Yeah.
Interesting.
I also learned that Kong is not a surname, it's a species name. So that's why they're all named Kongs, even though they're not all of them are related. Because there is a family tree element to the whole thing, but they just don't have last names.
It's not their patronym.
Yeah, it's just like their name, and then I guess it changes too. It's kind of like a nickname because Cranky Kong was the original Donkey Kong, and now he's cranky only now that he's old.
Is Donkey Kong
I would argue that he was pretty cranky in the original game.
That's fair.
He
That's
was
very
throwing barrels everywhere.
Donkey Kong's grandmother, Cranky Kong's wife's name is Wrinkly Kong, and I feel like she wasn't wrinkly her entire life.
Yeah. That's also...
It's like how Scar in The Lion King... You're like, did you name him Scar? Did his name change when he got a scar? That's kind of fucked
Julia,
up.
if only there was some sort of prequel to tell us what was going on.
Okay, wait, hold on. A full aside... I went to a 10:15 showing of Inside Out last night.
Oh, boy.
And I was watching the previews. I'm doing great.
Okay.
I was fine. I was in bed by 12:30. It was perfect. It's a tight 90 movie.
It is.
Good movie.
But I was like sitting there watching it, and I'm like, are they really making a fucking Mufasa prequel? What the
They
fuck
are.
is this
Stupid.
shit?
They are.
It's so bad.
Jeez. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my
favorite. Are they canonically related to King Kong?
No, well, that's what I'm saying, is they're not, because Kong is a species.
Sorry, I should say, are they the same species as King
I can
Kong?
only assume so, yes.
Okay.
Because obviously, Donkey Kong, it's an English version. The Japanese guy's giving an English name to these dudes. For example, Mario was named after the American lawyer of Nintendo at the time. So it's like, it's the naming is all janked up, and like Donkey as like being like a playful enemy. That's why they named him Donkey Kong. So yes, but it's a little all mixed up because of the languages.
Can I share with you a fun line from the Wikipedia?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Though the protagonist was unnamed in the Japanese release of Donkey Kong, he was named Jumpman in the game's English instructions and Lil Mario in the sales brochure.
Just like
Lil Mario.
Just like 4 out of 12 of your second cousins, Julia.
Yeah. Incredible.
This is Lil Mario. This is Medium Mario. Yeah. This is Big Mario.
And this is also Lil Mario, who's Big Mario's dad.
Yep.
This is Cranky Mario.
Yep. It's a species. Man,
the guy who they supposedly named him after, first off, was the landlord who was like, "Give me the back taxes," but just looks like a real like guy who would demand back taxes.
So funny.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Not to change subjects, but Amanda or Julia, do you have anything you would like to share?
Yeah, what have you been thinking about? Was that your fun fact that you have been talking about?
I don't know. Let me think about it.
I have really been enjoying gardening on my fire escape. It's not allowed, but I'm doing it. The cucumber plants are thriving, and they have little tendrils that they poke out to make themselves affixed to like a trellis. And it's crazy. Those little tendrils grow like almost visually, like they grow inches and inches each day.
That's wild.
It is wild. So that's been really fun. But no, nothing else in particular.
Oh, I told you guys, but I want to tell the audience. I went out yesterday for
to see Inside Out.
Yeah. No, but before that, I went to a friend date at a restaurant. And I had a true Tuesday night at the restaurant situation where the bartender, or not the bartender, but the waiter sat down when he took our order and was also like, "Do you see how crazy it is? Because it's Taco Tuesday. Our manager, he won't bring on more people." And I'm like, "My guy, thank you for sharing this with us. This is great." And then he only charged me for the burrito and none of the sides that I ordered.
Wow.
So
that was nice.
Wow.
Love it.
Huge.
Was he flirting, or he just liked you guys?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
But
Brandon, I have been married for 6 years and in a relationship for, I think, 15. So I don't know when people are flirting with me anymore.
That's fair.
If it's not after school at theater, how is Julia supposed to know?
I don't know.
If he's not kissing me, how do I know?
Well, even that is difficult because everyone at school after theater is flirty with everyone.
That's
true.
It's a mess. Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
No, it's very true. We've also been hitting up the farmer's market a lot and getting farmer's market. Like, it's just, the produce is so good. It is so much cheaper than like the shit stuff at the grocery store. And so Eric and I have gotten like pretty much as much produce as each of us could carry. Like several pounds of like incredible lettuce and like radishes and carrots and bok choy, tomatoes. It's been awesome.
It's wild getting iceberg lettuce. It's funny getting iceberg lettuce from the farmer's market because you feel like it comes out of the ground wrapped in cellophane.
Exactly.
But it's so good. But also, like, these are bigger than what's in the grocery store, and it's cheaper. Iceberg lettuce is like $3 at the grocery store, and it's like $2.50 from the farmer's market. It's honestly crazy.
That's a good grocery store. The expensive ones, it can be like $5 a head for iceberg. Which is like,
and it's just like crazy. whatever stuff they have. But yeah, shout out to the farmer's market.
The reason I know that me and the Coffee Ghosts are good is that if either of us suggested to the other one that we buy any type of lettuce, we would say, Are you fucking insane?
All right, have you been kidnapped? Is this your code word?
Yeah. Our trick is to use it pretty much right away. We've been doing a lot of big salads recently.
Shout out big salads.
Love big salad. Love you, best friend. Like something creamy, something crunchy, something acidic, and just like chop up a whole bunch of vegetables and then, portion them out over a few days. But the lettuce, if you use it in the first few days, and actually this is a good tip. We have this thing in the US called a green saver bag. I saw it recommended in like the comments of like King Arthur baking post or something. But they're incredibly helpful in extending the shelf life of produce. It's just like a bag that is more or less porous than regular plastic, and you can reuse them. So we make the lettuce. We usually eat it in like 2-3 days.
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole thing about salads because I think that a salad needs like 20 ingredients for it to be good. So it's like I'm gonna have to spend 30 minutes making this big salad, and it might as well be 50% farmers market products if I'm going to be doing it.
I think salad needs to have a bunch of cheese to be good.
Oh, I agree. That is one of the ingredients, Brandon. 100%. I get.
I think I have created the perfect Caesar salad recipe.
Oh yeah,
and I'm very proud of it.
Gimme.
Gimme.
It's the only kind of salad I usually eat.
I use a mix of Boston and iceberg lettuce, 2 different type of crouton.
2.
I buy like from the store. I get like little croissants, and I chop those up into little cubes, and then I air fry them.
Whoa!
And then also panko breadcrumbs in a pan with some butter and lemon zest.
Classic.
And then I make my own Caesar salad dressing. No anchovies. I use miso instead. And I add more lemon than one would typically require. So it's like a very bright, lemony, but also very umami, savory Caesar salad.
I dig it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Me so hungry for that salad.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you for joining us for today's conversation pit. Eric, ending us on a perfect button, as always.
Interesting.
Everybody, thank you for your understanding and presumably well wishes.
It's
to
because
Brandon.
it was the word miso sounded like you wanted it.
Hold up, shut up, Eric. Amanda just said presumably well wishes.
I'm presuming people are going to want to leave their well wishes for you and your sister. Not that they're going to
like,
send.
There may be some people who are like, "Fuck you."
Hold on, wait, I'm getting a news bulletin. Brandon's nephews have superpowers. They're X-Men.
Oh nice.
No.
Interesting. It happens to the best of us.
It was early July in Lake Town City in 1989, but here we are.
They came out of the womb going shirk.
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Tight. But yes, no, thank you all for your understanding and for letting us have a good Tuesday in conversation pit form. We will see you to talk about all of your opinions and answers to these questions in the Join the Party Discord or the Multitude Discord, which, as Eric mentioned, you can join at multitude.productions/community. Also a good time to plug that we're doing our annual summer survey. So if you have opinions about things like what game system we should play and how important it is to the podcast and the story that we play certain game systems over others, let us know.
Don't know if you've heard, but Dungeons & Dragons is going to get really weird soon. So we're definitely looking at other games.
Your survey feedback is what helped us feel like you would be stoked when we did Monster of the Week for the Camp-Paign, which I remain such a fan of re-listening to every summer. So your opinion really matters to us, and that's at multitude.productions/survey.
Yeah, the link in the episode description, yeah?
It is.
Your
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed your frozen grasshopper slushies, the liquor, not the snack. Those are chocolate covered and in the kitchen for anyone who wants those.
The actual crickets?
Yeah.
Oh no,
they're delicious.
Crunch.
I would rather eat chocolate covered crickets than creme de menthe, honestly.
Yes, me too.
No,
me too.
No.
We have something for everyone here at Multitude, no matter where your food opinions lie on the axis of unhinged to traditional, we have you covered.
On a scale of 70s drinks to bugs as future food.
Yeah.
Where do you think your food opinions lie?
That's the Z-axis, Eric. Time. All right. Thank you all for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.